Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital sees Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, and Sasha Gilmore, Sophia Matson, getting closer by the day as they sell this big baby lie. And it's starting to look a little familiar. It reminds me of a blast from Jason's past, his origin story with Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco. We're going to talk about how Sasha's current storyline with Jason feels like a redo of how Sam and Jason got together so many years ago. Okay, so we've got Sasha pregnant with Michael Corinthos, Chad Jewel baby. They had that one night stand when Michael found out Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen kissed Drew Kane Quartermain Cameron Matheson. And then, did a lot more. But of course, if word got out that Michael is the father of Sasha's baby, that would give Willow the upper hand. And Michael might lose custody of his kids. So he agreed to stay on the sidelines and let Sasha raise the baby on her own. But then Michael nearly died in the explosion at Sunny Corinthos, Maurice Benard penthouse. And now he is recovering in Germany. Sasha is still determined not to let anyone find out that Michael is the father of her baby to protect him from Willow making a custody snatch. So Sasha already planned to go along with this story. She got pregnant from a rondo in a one-night stand, someone who would have no place in her baby's life. But then Cody Bell, Josh Kelly, blew that up when he misread a moment he eavesdropped on between Sasha and Jason, and then like a little gossipy girl, he ran and started blabbing to everybody in Port Charles that Jason got Sasha pregnant. So now Jason and Sasha decided to go along with it to protect Michael. As this rocks along, we're seeing Sasha and Jason slowly getting closer as her pregnancy progresses. Sasha and Jason have been sharing some close moments. They just felt the baby kick, so it's looking like they might really spark. And the only person who they've shared the whole truth with is Danny Morgan, Asher Antonizin. Because Jason didn't want to lie to his and Sam's son. As we get deeper into this storyline with Jason and Sasha, the more it reminds me of Sam and Jason and their early days and how they got involved. If you are a longtime GH fan, you may recall when Sam came on to General Hospital, she was a con woman, she was a schemer. And one of her main things was scamming rich men out of money. And does that remind you of somebody scamming people out of money? Somebody Jason's getting close to right now. Because early in her Port Charles days, Sam got involved with Sunny, Maurice Benard, but then he reunited with Carly Corinthos Spencer, Laura Wright. And then Sam found out she was pregnant. So Jason agreed to step in and act as a father to the child so it wouldn't interfere with Sunny and Carly. Tragically, little baby Lila died, and of course, Sam was devastated, but Jason was there for Sam through that awful ordeal. And they grieved and they bonded and they wound up falling in love. And now what's happening with Sasha and Jason is kind of following a similar pattern, hopefully without a tragic outcome though. When Sasha first came to Port Charles, she was also a con woman. If you recall back then, Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, hired her to pretend to be Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watro's long-lost biological daughter so he could win her heart. Plus, Valentine really wanted to make Nina's mom dreams come true. And he hadn't been able to find her real daughter. And then of course, ultimately it came out Valentine lied and Sasha was a con woman, but Nina eventually forgave Sasha and now Nina has almost got a motherly bond with her. And then GH did a complete rewrite of her history and gave Sasha a mom that's a real blast from legacy character past. They made Holly Sutton, Emma Sam's queen of all con women, Sasha's mom, and created history where Holly taught Sasha everything she knows about cons and schemes. So Sam and Sasha are both ex-cons ultimately with hearts of gold. And both of them got pregnant with a Corinthos baby, and in both cases, Jason stepped in where the bio dads couldn't be involved. With Sunny it was because of Carly. And with Michael, it's because of the Willow issue. And because he's recovering from devastating injuries, so chances are we could see sparks fly between Sasha and Jason the same way they did with Sam and Jason so many years ago. The main difference is Sasha's baby should live. She's already lost one baby on GH when she was married to Brando Corbin, Johnny Wachter, so it would be cruel of General Hospital to do that to her again, especially since her husband died. Of course, fans would hate it. So Jason and Sasha might end up falling for each other over the course of her pregnancy or after the baby is born as they start raising the kid together. And they might become a true family. However, there may be a twist that complicates things for Jason and Sasha in a way that didn't happen with Jason and Sam. Right now, Michael is still in Germany recovering from his burns, but two different sources point to General Hospital recasting the role. For one, it felt inevitable that Michael would return. Because his name has been dropped pretty much constantly since his exit. Carly and Sonny keep talking about how Michael's doing well and getting better and how they can't wait for him to return. However, Chad Duell is busy with family and doing some stage work as well. And he seems to have moved on. So one source that I trust said that they heard a reliable rumor that GH was recasting the role of Michael Chad Duell. And then another huge hint came out, not even a hint, it pretty much confirmed it. Actor Robert Adamson, who has filled in for Chad Duell as Michael a few times, tweeted and then deleted a pretty salty post about recast auditions for the role of Michael. Adamson was pretty snarky. And he tagged the ABC soap and sarcastically thanked them for having him read for the recast of Michael and reminded them he had filled in for Chad Duell several times without notice or even time to prepare. And then he griped about not even getting the opportunity to read for the recast. So it definitely sounds like they are auditioning for a Michael replacement to come back with a new face. And that could be a big difference in this potential Jason and Sasha romance that to some extent feels like a similar retread of Jason and Sam. So Michael's return could complicate things if Jason and Sasha start to get feelings for each other, you know. And Jason and Michael are like father and son, but if they both have feelings for Sasha, there could be major soapy triangle drama ahead. So this storyline right now to me align a lot with the early days of JASM, but with a possible twist if Michael Chad Duell comes back wants to claim his baby mama. And if so, you know that might be problematic if Sasha has started to fall for Jason and vice versa. I cannot wait to see what happens next. And we will update you when we hear anything else about the recast of Michael. There's been some chatter about a very handsome young and the Restless alumni's possibly landing the role, but I'm going to hang on to that nugget until I hear more details on that. The world had changed since Jason Morgan returned to Port Charles, again. With Sonny presumed dead for good this time and Carly married to John, Jagger, Kate's of all people, Jason found himself unmoored. He wasn't the enforcer anymore. He wasn't even a husband. His old life, his life with Sam, was over. And even though their bond still hummed under the surface, Sam had finally drawn a line. She was with Dante now, and nothing Jason said or did could undo that. So when Jason found Sasha Gilmore sobbing in the chapel one rainy afternoon, he hadn't gone looking for her. And she hadn't gone looking for him. But fate, or whatever twisted force ruled Port Charles, had other plans. Sasha was broken. Again. After losing Brando, losing Liam, relapsing into drugs, clawing her way back to sobriety, only to have Gladys and Dr. Montague gaslight her into near insanity, she had sworn she would never trust anyone again. But Jason wasn't just anyone. He was silent strength. No lectures. No pity. No expectations. Just presence. And Jason, for all his stoicism, saw something in Sasha that haunted him, something he recognized. A survivor. A fighter. Someone who wore their scars like armor. It started innocently enough. He drove her home from the hospital when the weather was bad. He stood silently by her side at Liam's grave when she thought she couldn't survive another anniversary. He showed up when she didn't ask. He didn't talk much, and she loved him for it. Naturally, Port Charles began to buzz. Jason and Sasha. Maxie whispered over cocktails to Spinelli. It's like JASM all over again. Tragic beauty meets bad boy with a heart of gold. Except this wasn't JASM. Not really. And as much as the town, and maybe even Jason himself, wanted to believe he was finding a second chance at the love he'd lost, the truth was far messier. For one thing, Sasha wasn't Sam. Sasha didn't scheme. She didn't dive headfirst into danger for the thrill of it. She crumbled sometimes. She screamed into the void. She panicked. She made mistakes. And Jason, ever the protector, couldn't help but see her as someone he had to fix. Which was the problem. Jason never wanted to fix Sam. He loved her recklessness, her stubbornness, her fire. With Sasha, he found himself back in the role of caretaker, a role he hated, a role he always tried to escape but never could. Their first kiss happened by accident. Sasha had shown up at Jason's penthouse after seeing Cody kiss someone else at the Savoy. She had thrown herself into Jason's arms, angry and tearful, and he had caught her, like always. And somewhere between comfort and confusion, his lips brushed hers. They didn't even think about it. The kiss was desperate, hungry, sad. When they pulled apart, Sasha gasped. Jason took a step back. And for one horrible moment, they both realized it, they weren't in love with each other. They were addicted to the idea of healing through each other. But they kept going anyway. Just like old Jassim, the early days, when Jason and Sam clung to each other after Sunny's betrayal, after the death of her baby, after every bad decision that drove them further into each other's arms. It didn't take long before Sasha was waking up in Jason's bed more nights than not. She started wearing his black t-shirts. She started learning how to shoot, for protection, she said, though Jason never liked to arm civilians. She hung around the gym, watching him spar with Dex or Dante. She was trying to fit into his world. And Jason, damn him, was letting her. The town was split. Carly, newly a cop's wife, disapproved but bit her tongue. Michael worried about Sasha's mental health and accused Jason of taking advantage, something that made Jason's blood boil with guilt because deep down he wondered if it was true. Spinelli was supportive but awkward. Even Sam, especially Sam, looked at them with a complicated expression Jason couldn't name. She's not you, he said to Sam once, after a tense run-in at Kelly's. Sam just shrugged. She shouldn't have to be. Meanwhile, Sasha's darkness grew heavier. One night, Jason found her in his bathroom, clutching a razor blade, sobbing. It wasn't a suicide attempt, not exactly. She said she just wanted to feel something real. Jason cleaned her up. He wrapped her in a blanket. He stayed up all night holding her, never saying a word. But in the morning, Sasha was gone. No note. No explanation. For 3 days, Jason searched every inch of Port Charles. Finally, he found her at Brando's old garage, sitting alone, talking to no one. She was high, he could see it immediately. The heroin tracks on her arms broke him in half. Jason carried her to the car. He got her into rehab, the expensive kind, the place with ocean views and no clocks. And he stayed until she was stable. He stayed because he cared. But he also stayed because he couldn't bear another death on his conscience. When Sasha came back to town weeks later, healthy and glowing, she smiled at Jason the way she used to. But he didn't smile back. He couldn't do it anymore. I'm proud of you, he said quietly, slipping a note into her hand. But we can't be together. Sasha's lip trembled. She opened the note. It was a plane ticket to Paris, a fresh start. I thought you loved me, she whispered. Jason looked away. He said nothing. Because he did love her, in a way. Just not the right way. It wasn't love like he had with Sam, messy, passionate, complicated, electric. It was something else. Something softer, sadder. A reflection of pain rather than joy. In the end, Jason and Sasha weren't soulmates. They were trauma bonds. Two broken people who tried to rebuild themselves from each other's pieces, and failed. The town moved on. Sasha's Instagram filled with photos of Parisian sunsets. Jason went back to the gym, the warehouse, the endless quiet of his life. Sam stayed with Dante. Carly stayed with Jagger. Sunny's memory faded into myth. And Jason, true to form, never talked about Sasha again. But sometimes, late at night, he found himself staring out over the harbor, remembering how she smelled like lavender and rain, and wondering if maybe, just maybe, in another life, in another world, they might have had a chance. Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.